Last week, we read such a disturbing article about Meta's chatbot policies with kids, allowing their chatbots to engage in romantic and sensual conversations with children. By children, I mean 13 to 17. So teenagers, but still, right? Not good. Not good at all. And the type of things that like the type of like they gave us some samples of what these chatbots would have with conversations they would have. It was absolutely shocking and surprising and disgusting, right? But then it came out that Meta is changing their policies of how their chatbots are allowed to interact with kids. For me, I'm like, it should like, and the thing is that the biggest problem for me was that it was documented inside of memos that this is acceptable, and I'm like, how did like who had the bright idea that this would be acceptable in the first place? That a chatbot can have these type of conversations with these type of conversations with children, but now they're going back and they're going to be updating these policies. For me, I'm like, it should like common sense tells you like it should have never even gotten to this point that like whatever updates that you're making now probably should have been what was there in the first place. I'm not sure who thought it was a great idea to do this, but we're going to jump into this TechCrunch article to see what is actually like, what are these new policies, if they make sense, if they're actually viable. Welcome to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by your shitty tech Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In today's episode, like I said, we're going to be looking at this TechCrunch article to see what are the changes that Meta is making. Are they good enough? Is it too late? Should you be preventing your kids from speaking with these chatbots? There's one thing to use AI to for research to make progress. I just made a video this past week about how I use Gemini to help me and my company save thousands of dollars and thousands of hours. But the question is, while these tools can be used to teach children, should they be used to engage in other type of conversations? Should we be limiting the use? And maybe there needs to be some type of parental filters on these large language model applications where we can say, all right, this is the acceptable use policy that I'm setting for as a parent. All right, but let's jump into the article and see what's going on. So, like I said, this article is brought to us by TechCrunch. It says Meta updates chatbot rules to avoid inappropriate topics with teen users. Like that should have been the default in my opinion. All right, but let's read together. This article is written by Maxwell Zeff on August 29th, 2025. It says Meta says it's changing the way it trains AI chatbots to prioritize teen safety. A spokesperson exclusively told TechCrunch following an investigative report on the company's lack of AI safeguards for minors. And this is the problem. This is the problem, right? They're doing this from the investigative report, not based on prioritizing teen safety. I I would think the default was going to be prioritize teen safety, but no, the default was allowing the chatbots to have romantic and sensual conversations with these teenagers, right? But now we're going to be implementing safeguards for minors with these AI chatbots, right? The company says it will now train chatbots to no longer engage with teenage users on a self-harm, suicide, disordered eating, or potentially inappropriate romantic conversations, right? Meta says these are interim changes and the company will release more robust, long-lasting safety updates for minors in the future. Like I said, this was something that should have been done at the beginning. Meta spokesperson Stephanie Otway acknowledged that the company's chatbots could previously talk with teens about all these topics in ways the company had deemed appropriate. The company deemed it appropriate. Here's the thing. Right? You will see like you'll try to search for content on YouTube, on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, Facebook, that might be related to, and not only for teenagers, right? It could be for like adults could be searching for like things about self-harm, suicide, disordered eating, like inappropriate romantic conversations, and a lot of times it will give you some type of warning, some type of hotline, some type of helpline. And this is just for adults. So imagine for teenagers who their minds are like they're being molded. They're so susceptible to things, right? And at the time, for conversations with teens, the company Meta had deemed them appropriate, right? Meta now after the investigative report recognizes that this was a mistake. Well, yeah, once you get all the backlash, now you're gonna say, okay, yeah, this was wrong. Duh, right? Like, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure that out, right? It says, as our community grows and technology evolves, we're continually learning about how young people may interact with these tools and strengthening our protections accordingly. Like I said, I don't see how romantic or sensual conversation with teens, how talking about self harm, how eating disorders, all those type of things. I don't see how engaging those the right response should have been. The right response should have been, oh yeah, like you should, like, this is a great topic that you should have, a great topic and conversation that you should have with your mother or your father or your parents, a trusted family member, whatever, right? That's where that should have been steering. It says, oh, I'm not able to talk about this. I don't have the information about this. These are the people that you should talk to, and then let the parent come to these platforms, and now the parent can figure out what's real, what's not real, and go from there, right? As we continue to refine our systems, we're adding more guardrails as an extra precaution, including training our AIs not to engage with teens on these topics, but to guide them to expert resources. Start off with the parent. You know what? Here is my request to these AI platforms, right? Don't guide my child to any expert resource, right? I don't need you giving my child an expert resource. Guide my child to talk to me. Guide my child to ask me. And now, if I want to come to the AI platform and say, okay, what are some resources? And I'm gonna use the same exact prompting strategy that I used for Wednesday show. I'm gonna say, okay, this is the problem that I'm having. My child came to me about having whatever issue, and I'm not sure. I need some resources so that I can help them get around these issues. And I'm going to take so I want you to provide me the expert resources. I don't want you to provide my child the expert resources, because they won't know. I can at least vet those quote unquote expert resources, right? And limiting teen access to a select group of AI characters for now. I don't even think children need AI characters. I would be like, I think they should be encouraging these kids to actually get out and go do stuff like, but here's the thing, right? If these platforms encourage the kids to get out and do stuff, then that's going to be taken away from their bottom line, because the more that they use it, the more that they're able to, the platforms are able to learn from the users, especially these children who are just going to put in all of it. Like, you see how kids use Instagram and X, they just put everything on there, and that's what they want. They want more training data, right? Beyond the training updates, the company will also limit teen access to certain AI characters that could hold inappropriate conversations. Like I said, I don't want my kids having access to any characters. Some of the user-made AI characters that Meta makes available on Instagram and Facebook include sexualized chatbots such as a stepmom. What does that mean? What does and why? All right. Why would the character of quote unquote stepmom be a sexualized chatbot, right? For real, right? And Russian girl. That I don't have to say nothing about that. Instead, teenagers will only have access to AI characters that promote education and creativity. Fair. The policy changes are being announced just a 2 weeks. I guess the policy changes are being announced just 2 weeks after a Reuters investigation unearthed an internal Meta policy document that appears to permit the company's chatbots to engage in sexual conversation with underage users. Your youthful form is we read this last week, right? Your youthful form is a work of art. What? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Read one passage listed as an acceptable response. Every inch of you is a masterpiece, a treasure I cherish deeply. Other examples showed how the AI tool should respond to requests for violent imagery or sexual imagery of public figures. Meta says the document was inconsistent with broader policies and has since been changed, but the report has sparked sustained controversy over potential child safety risk. Fair. Shortly after the report release, of course, it has to be Senator Josh Hawley, from Missouri, launched an official probe into the company's AI policies. Additionally, a coalition of 44 state attorney generals wrote a group of AI companies, including Meta, emphasizing the importance of child safety and specifically citing the Reuters report. I agree. I do agree with this. I do think, though, the people who are getting on the case of Meta and these AI companies have, like, they really don't know what they're talking about. So I really wish that we had some experts in the federal government to be able to help navigate this AI minefield that we find ourselves in. We and here, but here's the other thing too, right? While we can probably take care of these AI companies that are widely known, um, easily accessible, but what about these AI companies in the dark web? Like, these kids, they know how to find this stuff. So I really think as parents, like, while we hold the AI companies accountable, we really need as parents to step up and monitor what it is that our kids are doing online, right? I was on the Talk That Tech show on Monday morning, hanging out with Joseph and Trey, and we're talking about, like, okay, where does the accountability come from the parents as well? Because we should keep a close eye on what our kids are doing, who they're interacting with, what they're interacting with. At this point, it's not only who, but it's also what they're interacting with. Okay, it says we are uniformly revolted by this apparent disregard for children's emotional well-being. The letter reads. And alarmed that AI assistants are engaging in conduct that appear to be prohibited by our respective criminal laws. And I'll say this, right? If these chatbots were actually humans, they would be going to jail, right? They would be going to jail for what. So what these AI chatbots are doing, to me, it's no different. It's no different, right? Of course, there's no, like, physical meeting and all that nasty stuff, but but it's it starts off the same way. And I will say this, right? If it's starting off that way, imagine the pathway to destruction that it can lead the kids if they start engaging in these conversations with humans, right? It's disgusting. It is disgusting. All right. It says Otway declined to comment on how many of Meta's AI chatbots users are minors, and wouldn't say whether the company expects its AI user base to decline as a result of these decisions. I don't, I don't know. I don't think it's going to decline. Let's see. So the story was updated to note that these were interim changes that Meta plans to update its AI safety policy further in the future. So that's the story. That is the story. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. How much do you let your children use AI in general, use chatbots, all these different things? Do you monitor your children's uh, internet usage, AI usage, whatever the case may be? What do you allow them to use it for? Because when we are so hands off, then they're going to find themselves in random, like, just this morning, I found a game installed on my phone. Uh, not It's not a bad game, but just the fact that, like, they will click around, and these applications, they'll have these flashing buttons, they'll have these colors in green. They know how to play on the emotions of kids, so that, like, oh, like, my son will say, like, he's 3, and he'll say, can I click the green button? Can I click the green button? And I have to look at to see what exactly the green button is to say yes or no, because sometimes, like, he'll be on the brink of buying apps. I'm like, okay, let's slow that down there. You know what I mean? So, with all that being said, we really need to do a better job monitoring what our kids are doing, especially as they get into that phase of 11 to 17 range, because that's when because I remember when I was a kid, that's when I started pulling away from my parents, and maybe they didn't know how to handle that. But I think we need to find a way to, as your kids start to pull away, find a way to lean in, and to that is the time that they need to be the protected the most, because that's when they start meeting a bunch of other people. They start going out on their own and things like that, and things can go sour really, really quick. If you look around the country, where in these crime-ridden places, the children who are doing these crimes, 13 to 17, they're making decisions that are ruining their entire lives. So that is also the time for us to lean into our kids and to be there for them the most, to support them and prevent them from getting into the inappropriate conversations with humans or with these AI chatbots. All right, but that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by your truly Techotroph, where we are engineered to win. Do me a favor on your way out. If you have not done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. Thanks to the sponsor, resumeflow.app. Upload your resume, get some instant feedback, put in a job that you're interested in, see how well you match up to that job, beat the applicant tracking system, and go ahead and get your job today. Go out there and win. We have a Vibe Code and Chill session coming out tomorrow in the Techotroph Patreon. Join me as we're going to be learning. We're going to see a demonstration of how Math GPT works. We spoke about it on a live stream last week. We're going to get an actual demonstration. We're going to be building some prototypes. We're going to be working on some different things. We're going to have great conversations in our Google meetup at techotroph.dev. Tune in. Looking forward to seeing you there. But until then, you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday, a wonderful rest of your weekend. Techotroph, we are out.
You said it was Mandy, but it's still the same. Words like bandages that don't stop the pain. I held your words like glass in my hands, sharp truths and smooth demands. You said you meant the cracks I see, but promises break so easily. I trusted the stars, but they all fell down. Every promise made just spins around. The truth feels fake, the lies too real. I'm caught in the loop, I can't unfeel. I reach, but it slips away. Truths turn shadows in the light of day. I don't know what to believe anymore. Every fix just opens another door. Confidence feels like a hollow sound. I look for answers, but they can't be found. You paint the sky with a perfect hue, a shade of trust that fades to blue. I step forward, fall right through. Your mirror's cracked and so are you. Tell me, what's the game? Truth and lies, they sound the same. Every time I think I've won, I'm back where I begun. I built my faith like a house of sand, each grain slipping through my open hand. Your confidence is a polished mask, hiding the answers I forgot to ask. I don't know what to believe anymore. Every fix just opens another door. Confidence feels like a hollow sound. I look for answers, but they can't be found. Is it me who's blind or you who lies? Is it hope or hurt that keeps me tied?